What can Patrick Mahomes do in Week 17 versus the Broncos to impress the MVP voters? We'll get into that and a little bit more of the matchup after this intro. Hey, what's up, Chiefs Kingdom? If you don't know, my name is Anthony, and this is On the Block Sports Chiefs. Go ahead and follow me at Anthony D. Hatton 2. Also, you can check out some of my articles at arrowheadaddict.com. But not just because yours truly is on there, but you have some really dope content from some dope people every single day. So go ahead and check out arrowheadaddict.com. There's been a lot of MVP talk since the regular season is getting close to that finish line. Patrick Mahomes is well within reach of eclipsing Peyton Manning's single-season passing yardage record. Back in 2013, Peyton Manning tossed the ball for 5,477 yards. Currently, Mahomes has 4,720 passing yards. That means he will break this record with just a couple of 380-yard performances through the air. We all know that Mahomes is very capable of getting over 400 yards passing in any time he steps out on the field. So it is something that is very within reach. Of course, you have the narratives coming at this season. There was no Tyreek Hill. We've seen the best wide receiver on the roster be Juju Smith-Schuster. And other than that, you have a lot of unproven wide receivers. That just magnifies how impressive Patrick has been this season. Juju is good, but nobody has ever regarded him as being one of those top wide receivers in the NFL. Mecole Hardman, one of the other wide receivers, probably the second best. He hasn't been healthy the whole probably half of the season. Justin Watson, for some reason, has dropped a lot of passes. Kadarius Toney was acquired mid-season, but he's also missed his share of games. Sky Moore, he doesn't get utilized. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he remains to be what he has been thus far in his career. Travis Kelce is really the only consistent wide receiver, tight end, any type of receiving threat outside of Jerick McKinnon. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and say that breaking the passing yardage record with that cast of weaponry would seal the MVP because Kansas City at worst will be the second seed in the AFC, who everybody at the beginning of the season knew that the AFC was going to be difficult. It happened to shape out a little differently because the Chargers haven't quite been the Super Bowl favorite that they were predicted to be. Same with the Broncos, same with the Raiders. But then you have the Bills and the Bengals and you have the Dolphins. All these other teams have been really good in the AFC. So with that, you also could talk about the poor offensive tackle play or the average at best defense that Kansas City has, but that's for another day. Almost every passing statistic is led by Patrick Mahomes. Kansas City is going to be 14-3 with the best offense in the NFL, barring anything catastrophic happening. So, of course, this is Week 17. Let's go ahead and talk about this matchup specifically. Coming up Sunday, you have the Denver Broncos, who are 4-11, as we said before, coming to Kansas City, who are 12-3. Mahomes getting the win alone, that should seal getting the MVP with everything he's done to this point in the season. But if he definitely gets over 380 yards and 3 touchdowns, that will remove the Joe Burrows, the Jalen Hurts, the Justin Jeffersons, the Josh Allens, or whoever from the conversation. I think 3 touchdowns is specific because that'll put him at that 40 touchdown mark. No other quarterback is probably going to reach that this season. Joe Burrow is the closest, who has 34 currently, so he would have to throw 6 touchdowns over the past 2 or the final 2 weeks. in order to actually get 40 touchdowns. So that is a magic number. If Patrick Mahomes can throw for 3 touchdowns and 380 yards, he'll be on pace to go ahead and get that passing yardage record in a single season. And he'll put up the 40 touchdowns, which MVP voters in the narrative, everything in the media loves numbers. That's a specific goal and a number that nobody else is probably going to reach this year. Injuries for both the Chiefs and the Broncos. We'll go ahead and talk about that as well before we get more into this matchup. For the Chiefs, it has been, we all know now that Mecole Hardman, he's going to be out yet again. He had a setback, it looks like, even though he was a limited participant in practice. Kadarius Toney should be able to fill in his role pretty well, so I'm not extremely worried about there being no Mecole Hardman, especially whenever you're going against the Denver Broncos. No offense. So, of course, you have the usual IR people on the team, such as Jody Fortson, who was just added in the last couple weeks. No big deal with that because Blake Bell, they have him as a backup tight end. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, there's not really any... I hate to say this because I've been rooting for CEH a lot, but there's not going to be really any significance to him being out and still being on IR because you have Isaiah Pacheco, who's the future, who runs harder. Jerick McKinnon has been a fantasy football legend this year. He's won a lot of people some fantasy football leagues, and he's just been extremely solid. He's been that weapon out of the backfield for Patrick Mahomes that he hasn't had, except for probably the first year with Kareem Hunt. The Broncos, on the other hand, their rookie tight end, Greg Dulcich, he is going to be out. He just got put on IR, injured reserve with a hamstring. Randy Gregory, their outside linebacker, who is really good. He's been out. He's going to be out yet again with a knee injury. But the Broncos do have Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, sorry about that. Both of them are really good wide receivers. I don't want to disrespect them at all. They're going to be a little bit of a problem for the Chiefs to deal with. By the numbers, let's go ahead and look at both teams' offenses and defenses. For the offensive core, of course, you're going to have the Chiefs, who are going to be second in the league in points per game scored. Philadelphia just narrowly edges them out by a few decimal points. So the Broncos, whenever you look at the Chiefs, they're second best. The Broncos are last in the NFL in how many points they put up per game. The Chiefs are leading the league by a wide margin in passing yards per game and also total yardage, with that being said. And they also are ahead of the Broncos in rushing yards per game. So they're every single level better than the Broncos. The Broncos, whenever you look at them, I think what they'll try to use is Courtland Sutton's size and Jerry Jeudy's explosiveness. Jerry Jeudy is athletic and he's explosive. He ate the Kansas City's defense up last time they played a few weeks ago, so I'm sure the Broncos will try to use that again. The Chiefs, the weather isn't freezing, so I definitely expect them to pass the ball effectively. And I think Kadarius Toney, he's going to stretch out this Denver's defense horizontally. And he has the speed to do it and the agility to go ahead and make them concerned. That will not only open up the middle of the field in the passing game, but also in the running game. So Kadarius Toney, I think he'll be a huge factor in this one. For the defenses of the Chiefs and the Broncos defense, although they're trending down in the past few weeks in how many points they allow per game and also how many yards they allow per game, they're still top 10 in just about every category. They allow more yards on the ground than what the Chiefs do, but I think the main reason is because they're always playing from behind. Other teams run the ball on them a lot. So the Broncos, I think what they'll try to do is they're going to try to force turnovers. They had 3 interceptions, uncharacteristic interceptions, on Patrick Mahomes the last time they faced 3 weeks ago. Patrick hasn't thrown any interceptions since, but if you're the Broncos defensive coordinator, you're thinking he's due for it and he's going to give you the opportunities. For the Chiefs, I think what their defense will try to do is win the line of scrimmage. Colin Saunders is going to be back. Mike Dana has also put in some good reps. And then you have Stone Cold Chris Jones. He is a man, as always. He's just a big bully. So I think what they're going to try to do is put pressure on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson likes to hold the ball a little too long. And that's something they'll probably use to their advantage. L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, all of them need to do a good job at getting their hands on the wide receivers. Make Russell Wilson hold the ball as long as you can. So that'll definitely be some key points for the defenses in this game. Now, if we're going to go ahead and move this into the predictions, I'm going to be a little nice and say that I don't expect Patrick Mahomes to throw 3 interceptions. He hasn't thrown any in the past couple of games, and that is the only way I see the Broncos stopping him. Since the temperature will not be blistering, frigid, cold, the wide receivers, Justin Watson, shouldn't have any issues with catching the ball. Kansas City's defense will have its hands full with Jerry Jeudy and also Courtland Sutton, but I think L'Jarius Sneed, he'll definitely make his share of plays. Courtland Sutton, he does not get a lot of separation like Jerry Jeudy does, so Sneed will probably see more of his time on Jerry Jeudy, but I think the other corners, they all have the physicality to actually get up in Courtland Sutton in his space a little bit. So I'm honestly predicting a blowout here. And I know I said I was going to be nice, but Kansas City, they're going to put up a convincing 37-13 victory over the Broncos. Largely, that is because they're kind of in chaos. They just fired their head coach. The Chiefs will not just give the ball away as they did last time. 3 interceptions by Patrick Mahomes. That is something that will probably never happen for the foreseeable future. This game moves Kansas City to 13-3 on the season and a chance to become the number 1 seed in the AFC. I think the Chiefs winning this game, they put a lot of pressure on the Buffalo Bills to win their Monday Night Football matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. That is something that the whole world is watching. So the Bills, they're going to see the Chiefs win against the Broncos and have that much more pressure put on them. And they already don't want to lose the tiebreaker between the Bengals. So they're going to want to go into this game feisty and ready for that matchup. The Chiefs, 13-3, puts pressure on them to get that number 1 seed. Another MVP performance by Patrick Mahomes should take place. So with that being said, Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs at home, 37-13. I think they're going to go ahead and handle the Broncos. So thank you for watching On the Block Sports Chiefs. Give me some feedback on what you think about Patrick Mahomes' MVP odds and also what you think about the Denver Broncos coming to Arrowhead for this Week 17 matchup. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching again, and see you next time.